Nice.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Howdy, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You are listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up? You guys are listening to Doghouse, like he said. This is it, boys.
Yep.
This is the last one of the year.
Last one of 2019.
Last one. This is the
one.
last one in the chamber. We gotta make sure we hit our target.
We're bringing you the
game.
latest in gaming news, reviews, and discussions today. We've got some special stuff. It's the last of the year, so as you
It
said,
is the latest news because it came out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice.
that's my joke.
Yeah.
What can you say? What can you say?
What can you say after that?
We're gonna bring. Should I just tell them what we're gonna do, or should we leave it as a
Let's just
surprise?
do
Yeah,
it.
surprise, I suppose.
All right, so
But first, we
around
have to
this
do
time of the year,
the thing.
well, I want to let them know, and then we're gonna jump into that. But like
Cool.
around this time of the year, a certain celebration is held where we take all of the artistic creations that's in the gaming world and we judge them relentlessly until one is left alive. We call this the Game Awards.
It's like a really big dogfight
Yeah.
But we don't get to be as big a
without
part
the
of it.
witticism or complicated
Or charm.
No, none of the nuance or the
I
heart.
don't know. They announced a Smash character last time. That was pretty charming. And I think
Anyways.
Updog over here was pretty happy about it.
I cried a little bit.
The point is, they may have their Game Awards, but we have our own little
The real
thing.
Game Awards, you might say.
Here, we play for blood.
Amen.
If
All
your
right.
game loses at the end of the year,
It's deleted.
You die.
Off the face of the earth.
I'm gonna get Sleepy Bassett to come over here and put a 357 in your game.
wow.
Wow.
It's getting real up here in the doghouse today.
That's how we do it.
I'm getting a little
It's how we
steamy
do
over
it.
here. Okay.
It's how we play. It's how we do it. All right.
Cool.
But before we get into any of that, we got to jump in to Weather of the Day and Verse of the Day.
Oh, I thought he was going to do the other thing. Okay, cool.
You really built up the
I
suspense.
know. I was like, he's going to do it. And then he didn't. And
Just
I was like,
leaning
oh.
across the table staring at
So
me. I was
today,
Uh-huh.
60 degrees. Today on the 6th of December, we are heading into the Christmas time. It is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 19 degrees Celsius.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's the 6th of December.
And it's 66
And it's
degrees.
66 degrees.
And the
That's
wind
too
speed-
hot for December.
And the wind speed is 6 miles per
And
hour.
the
Is it
humidity
really?
is 46%.
Yep.
Got a northeasterly wind
That's
of
crazy.
6 miles per hour.
You guys know what this means, right? It probably won't rain today.
Probably not.
Fair. Tonight you can expect partly cloudy. Yeah, we're going to have lows around the 40s, highs around the low 50s to low 60s. So, yeah, expect that. And then it's supposed to rain Monday night. That's great.
Excellent.
Sounds about right.
And then it will plummet down to the 30s. Awesome.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of okay with it now because I like warmer weather, but I'm also a fan of the weather feeling how it's supposed to during the season. So
Yeah, that's
that's
fair.
me.
66 degrees here in Arkansas in December. Anyway, moving on to the verse of the day. So today's verse is John 10, verses 14 through 15. Dingo, why don't you take it away?
I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. So this is an evident portrayal or foreshadowing of when Jesus dies to save us from our sins. But another really cool thing that I like about this is shepherds and sheep. One of the cool things about that relationship, if you will, is sheep actually will memorize their shepherd's voice, so that way they will follow it and they'll know that one before they know anyone else's. And so he's talking about this because when Jesus speaks, if we are truly believers in him, we'll know his voice and we'll follow his voice. So this is kind of something that I think people will misjudge, and they'll think, oh, so I'm supposed to do this, and I know the Lord's telling me this, and it's not always quite the case. It might just be you're wanting to do something, and you're trying to use that as a veil.
Yeah.
You just need to actually pray and be silent about things and listen. So
It's been my experience that when God wants you to do something, it's usually not that fun.
it depends.
It's usually
but-
not something that you want to do because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's in the end, with us being part of a sin nature, that is true. That we may not always like it. There are some rare. I say rare, not really rare, but there are some instances where it's actually kind of cool, like getting
Sure.
to come to CVC. That's something I thought God needed me to do.
Like I said,
Here we are. But
things you don't
I
want to
agree.
do. Anyway, I think that about covers it.
That's good. That's good.
Once again, that was John 10, verses 14 through 15. Jumping into the top of the hour.
Ba-bum, 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 top of the hour.
Cool.
All right.
Can never catch them off guard. They're always ready.
I'm always
What a
prepared.
tight ship here.
He's
at
the one
Doghouse.
that starts it, so he's the one that has to be prepared, and then I have time. So
I made this.
he made the jingle.
I made this game. All right.
But
Who
yeah.
wants to go first?
He jingled first.
I jingled first.
No,
has-
he
Who wants to go
jingles
first?
because he jingles.
You go ahead and go first,
Me?
buddy.
All right.
I'll go after
So recently they updated Super Mario Maker 2. They put in a bunch of new stuff. For the 3D mode, they put in dash blocks, which is like a block you step on and it makes you move like really fast for a couple of seconds. So we're probably going to see like some longer levels based around that.
Mm.
They put in
I don't know what that is.
frozen coins, so we're probably going to see a lot of like obstacles that are going to get. The thing about frozen coins is like oh, it's a coin that's frozen. It's like a block that you can step on that can get like dissolved by fire. So we're probably going to see a lot of really hard levels revolving around lava and Bowser and stuff. They put in a P block, which is like invisible blocks becoming real and going invisible again and stuff like that. They put in like that little dude who throws the spike balls. He's back. Your favorite Mario character. They left him out of Smash
Oh,
Bros, but
Spike.
he's here.
He's
Spike,
cool.
he's back. Pokey's back. I have a little bit of nostalgia for Pokey. Pokey's pretty cool. But the biggest thing they did is they added a new playable character. It's like you can play as Link from Legend of Zelda 2, the side-scrolling bits. It's like he can do like the downward stab, so we're probably going to see some levels where like they're vertical almost. You're trying to get to the bottom. He can shoot arrows. He can throw bombs that have like a delay on them. So we're going to see a lot of like weird stuff with switches and time stuff. So I'm actually pretty excited to see like what weird things people can do with this stuff. Yeah, that's my top of the hour.
I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but I want to ask anyways.
Go for it.
So, you just lose the suit and it's Mario, kind of like the original Mario Maker, or do you just die?
That's a good question.
Because
I
think it should just be you die. But it's
yeah,
just me.
like I
Do they
think
give you a heart gauge.
I think if it's not a mode, like if it was a mode, I would say you just keep it or in. Ay. It came out already.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened yesterday at 8 p.m.
That's good.
That's why I couldn't find it. It's because it already. I was looking into the future. I should have been looking into the past.
That means you guys better hurry up and get on Mario Maker and play as a Link.
I don't
that's
want
out
to.
right now. That's a free update, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's free.
Excellent.
Pretty sweet.
Nintendo's.
go ahead and-
Yeah.
Sorry.
Moving on.
Cool beans. I will jump in, I suppose. So, it's kind of funny. So, I don't know if you guys watch Arlo, but he actually made a comment on how virtual console things should be brought back. And literally 5 minutes after he posted that video, Nintendo decided to pull a funny and brought some more Super Nintendo and NES games to Switch Online, which I think is funny. But I'm also, if you haven't seen his video, I would recommend watching that after you finish here.
Sure.
Because it's really good. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and tell you what games they brought in. The 6 games that they brought in were, first off, for the Super Nintendo, they brought in Star Fox 2, which originally was only on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, but now it's also on this, so I'm sorry if you just bought that for the exclusiveness.
Star Fox 2.
Because I know some people actually did that, and now they're upset because
Yeah.
it's on their Switch Online. Anyway, so there's that. Also, Super Punch-Out, which is really good. I liked that one.
That is great.
Kirby Superstar, which is an amazing game. Me and Logan were talking about that before we came live. And then the Capcom RPG Breath of Fire 2, which I'm interested in because I've heard Breath of Fire is a really good old series. So there are also 2 NES games that joined the lineup, which is the run-and-gun shooter Journey to Silius, which I've never heard of before, and SNK's action-adventure Crystallis, which I've heard is a pretty good game. So,
You know what?
yes.
That's all great. I don't care though, because Mach Rider is still not on the Switch, and that's hokey. I'll be the first to say it. I can't drive on a motorcycle like F-Zero and shoot things like Contra. What's wrong with this world?
Let's
Who
be
would allow
real.
this to happen?
Who allowed it to not have N64 games
We've
by
had
now?
3 Luigi's
You're
Mansions
literally
and
just
1
putting-
Mach Rider. Why?
I think there was a time where Sakurai considered adding him to Smash.
Yeah, he was gonna
There
go. He
was.
was gonna be in Melee. But
He's like, Mach Rider, that's a stupid name. I won't put you in Smash.
it's cool
Yeah.
though. It's
I don't have
Mad
enough time,
Max.
though.
I think the one thing
He's
that
a
I
cop.
do think is
His
upsetting
motorcycle.
is these are all ROMs that they're throwing on the online service. Because they are. They're Super Nintendo and NES ROMs that they're putting onto the online service for us to then play off of the Switch.
Okay.
So, because the Switch at that point is like an emulation for that.
Yeah.
And so, I don't understand why you can't massively just put a bunch of them on there, because it's not like it takes that much space for a Super Nintendo and NES game.
I don't
And
know.
also, N64 games aren't that big either. The Switch could totally handle that, and GameCube games, but that's just me. Anyway,
I would almost
so-
prefer them to do like what the Wii did and have like a massive market of 64, NES, and other titles that you buy individually.
Yeah,
But
I'd agree.
it's
but,
it's fun, I guess.
yep. Like I said, watch Arlo's video on it. It's actually really good and inspirational. So anyways, yes, what is your top of the hour?
Husky, hit us with that news, Husky.
Give us the goodness. That sounded like depressing. I wanted some uplifting
This
news.
just in, Husky, dad at the mic.
Monster Hunter World.
Oh, there you go.
Iceborne.
That's how you get him alive again.
There he goes.
Monster
There's
Hunter.
another. There's another. Because it was interesting that you mentioned a free update. We also got a free update. Got a lot of cool stuff,
Mine's kind of an
including 2 new monsters. One of which was a hidden. It was they didn't really talk about it beforehand, except a brief like snippet in the trailer.
Who was
They
it?
showed it. But they brought a lot of new cool stuff. There's new weapon poses. There's new quality of life changes that, I don't have to explain it here because neither of you play Monster Hunter, so you wouldn't know what I was talking about anyways. But, there's a lot of quality of life changes, but as far as that, they also bring new character customization options, weapon poses, it's like $20 worth of stuff. And they're just like, here, yeah, take it for free. There's also a lot of paid stuff that you can get it, but it's once again, it's like just really basic stuff that you can use like to customize your room and stuff. New music. They brought back the Lock-like music. Now, the reason I'm excited for this is from Monster Hunter 3, Monster Hunter Tri, and it was the soundtrack from the Desert City that you went to online. It's been gone forever. They changed it in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but I love the music and I love the atmosphere. They brought that back, and I'm freaking out about it.
That's cool, man.
That's cool. I like it whenever they throw in a little bit of nostalgia
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yes.
Because I know Monster has like a really deep history,
Yeah.
a deep, dark
Dark.
history.
Awful.
Using directional controls to attack.
Which is not good.
What is this, Robotron 2084? But no, yeah, so those are a few of the little things that I'm excited for, and you can obviously look at the new Dev Diary number 4 if you want to get any more insight onto that. It's on YouTube. You can find it everywhere.
That's really cool.
But yeah, a few like paid snippets, like I said, but also I have to talk about. I think they did like another Horizon Zero Dawn crossover that's happening right now.
Cool.
You mean the
So-
game that wanted to be Breath of the Wild or beat Breath of the Wild and didn't?
Yeah, but I mean it's free, so who cares?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's also
You're
free.
not wrong.
And
Oh, no.
we're gonna be getting new free stuff from that up until January. So they're like
Wow.
telling us stuff that we're gonna be getting up through January, which is
Next
awesome.
year. That's good.
But yeah, 2 new monsters. I'm gonna talk about the 2 big things right now. 2 big monsters that they just introduced. One of them's Stygian Zinogre. So there's a regular Zinogre who's basically this thunder wolf or wyvern. He has a symbiotic relationship with these things called thunderbugs.
Oh, I think you showed me this thing.
And basically, he's been a fan favorite just aesthetically, and his fight is really fun. And they added him to they brought him to Iceborne whenever the new expansion came out. For this update, they are bringing his subspecies, which is Stygian. He's got a black color palette, but he also uses dragon energy. I haven't got to fight him myself because I haven't had the time, but from what I've heard, this particular fight is it's kind of a really updated version of what we had in previous games, and I've heard a lot of really good, really cool things.
That sounds about par for
So, yeah.
the course as far as Monster Hunter World is concerned.
Yeah.
Just really updated versions of what
Yeah.
they've done before.
I've heard it's really really cool. But and that's also in the free update. That's so that's free with this, and then obviously with that we also got Xeno'jiiva adult form. So for anybody who played the base game, Xeno'jiiva was the last story boss of that game.
Is it baby?
It was like a weird alien-looking thing. Apparently, that was a shell, and it shed its shell in this. And it looks very much more like a Western dragon, but apparently it's going to be a siege quest that we're going to be able to fight later on. But for now, we have a kind of a preliminary to that, where it's a repel quest. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So it's a strong boy.
It looks like it's pretty, like, it has, from what I've heard, like, this is like just a repel, so this part is easy, but with Siege Quest, the last one we got was Call of Taroth, and it keeps getting harder and harder as it goes. So,
That's pretty cool.
the design is amazing, and you could also look that up, and there's plenty of footage of that out right now,
That sounds excellent.
and they've talked about it on a,
I love
Yeah.
like some games have been updating or they put in new stuff where I'm just kind of like, you know, like
Anthem.
yeah, like Anthem or like some of the stuff for the new Destiny or whatever. But like whenever Monster Hunter puts stuff in, it's always just like it's always like really good quality content.
yeah, and it's weird, because Capcom's not a company that was really known for that.
No.
Yeah.
But I think this is more of like a consequence of the Monster Hunter team in particular. So I'm really happy that they're kind of sticking with that motto, and it's amazing.
I think it's really neat how this game has. It's kind of like both of you two were saying. Like, it's kind of just updated Monster Hunter in general. Like, this game, even as a base game, is kind of updated the way it works,
Yeah.
from what I understand from everything. And then even the DLC is updating it more, which is super
Well, I
cool.
mean, it's weird because the DLC, like the expansion, they basically said it's essentially the equivalent of an Ultimate expansion that you might see in previous generations, because they
Yeah.
had like 3, and then they'd have 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate.
I think like the
5.
kind of the evolution of
Five is
gameplay
world.
mechanics,
Oh, that's right.
like the evolution of gameplay mechanics and like bosses that we're seeing. I think Monster Hunter as a concept is just really conducive to that. Like, it isn't necessarily about like big campaigns or like quests so much as it is like kind of like they've established like a world, and they just keep putting more stuff in it and making it better.
More stuff to kill.
More stuff to kill, more stuff to fight, and like easier and better different ways to do it. So.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they announced and we'll get into this later, but maybe an alternative to a service that they've had. Service that they've had, actually, Monster Hunter Frontier, that was on the PC. I think it was on the PC. It might not have been. But that's a service that actually is going to be expiring this month, and that's one that's run for quite some time. I think like a decade at this point.
Wow.
They had some crazy monsters in there, but that one's finally going to be coming to an end. So I'd be I'm wondering if they're going to announce some kind of successor to that as far as that goes. So, yeah.
That'd be cool.
But yeah,
I think-
Monster Hunter right now, it's my I can't wait to start playing it again. It's definitely my favorite franchise of all time.
I feel like it's probably when I look at all the stuff they're doing with Monster Hunter, it kind of reminds me of like Shovel Knight in a way, a little bit. Like they keep adding on all this content for free. Like I mean,
My lord, yeah.
it's just
That's
they had a
true.
base game and they've put in like 3 new games now, and now they're putting in like 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Which is
even.
crazy. Wait, so do you get the fighting game one with?
Yeah,
having bought
Shovel Knight Showdown does come with the whole pack. Like
Oh my goodness, that's
like,
crazy.
there's the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, which is like all like the umbrella for all the games. And if you bought one of them, then you get access to all of them. So like I bought the first Shovel Knight game way back in the day, and they just keep throwing new stuff at me, and it feels amazing.
That's actually super rewarding.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it when companies do that.
But yeah.
That looks like it's it for top of the hour.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, once I said, that's pretty much all I can say about that without having people like play it. Like once again, if you get into Iceborne at this point, there's a ton of content.
Yeah.
It's like if you got into Shovel Knight at this point, there's a ton of content.
Oh my
So,
gosh,
Yes.
just drowning in content.
Either game, get into either game, please.
Why are Battletoads here? Kratos from God of War, what are you doing?
Kratos. Yeah, I was about to say Kratos is cool.
Geralt from the Witcher series, why are you here? I don't understand.
Is that Dante from The Devil May Cry?
Is that a behemoth from Final Fantasy? I don't understand.
Oh God,
Oh,
I'm
that was cool. I liked that.
That was a behemoth.
I did see that, and I thought that was cool.
A lot of the mechanics from the behemoth are carrying over to adult forms. You know, Eva.
Oh, really?
It has enmity. It looks like the little laser eye.
Yeah,
Oh, I hate that.
I was like,
that's cool. But like, I like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just think of Behemoth.
I know there was some Breath of the Wild content that kind of got put into, I think, Try for the Wii U. I would have liked to. Is that
It
correct?
may have been 4. I think 4 and 4 Ultimate were.
You got, like,
oh,
a
you're
costume
talking
and
about
stuff. Yeah,
you're
the Breath of the
it
Wild
was,
costume and
You think you're thinking generations and generations.
right, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Generations, yeah.
But like, I would have liked to see a Guardian fight in World.
Oh my lord.
That would have been kind of.
Oh my lord. Do not say that to me, because now I really want it. I want to fight a Lionel.
I want to fight a Lionel. I
Bro,
wanna
how
fight-
would you reflect the laser back from the Guardian?
I have a
'Cause
lance.
That's a thing.
I don't have to reflect
I
it.
have
I
to
can just tank it.
just
But
stab its
bruh,
eye out. You got to break
but if
its
you
legs
could-
off too.
If you could, that'd be cool.
It's funny because Monster Hunter is all about the part.
The breaking
looming.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and that's something huge for them.
Yeah, eventually, whenever they bring thing to the Switch, I'm like 90% sure we're gonna get another Monster Hunter Switch,
Yeah.
because they still have a B team for Monster Hunter.
Right.
Are you
yeah.
hoping it isn't a generations situation?
I hope
or
that
do you
it's.
want it
I
to be
hope
like
that
a
it's.
world-
I hope that they take a lot of inspiration from World and
Yeah.
as far as
I would
quality
like-
of life.
I'd like to see something
improvements.
new, like maybe something. Like it'd be interesting to see
I
maybe
want
like
something different. Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
like maybe not necessarily easier, but like a faster, like an easier to play like mobile style like cell shaded Monster Hunter would be kind of cool.
Mm.
Like I would be into that, but
I think I would agree.
like something really weird and stylized would be
Oh
interesting.
yeah, I'm perfectly fine with World being like the more realistic, and then like the stuff on the Switch being like the super hyper stylized. Because now Frontier's gone, and Frontier had some crazy stuff.
Mm.
So if they go for the more stylized stuff,
That's the one with the airplane dragon, yeah. Is that
Mhm.
Frontier?
that's Generations.
But did that one come from Frontier, or did that come?
That
from
was
something else?
just Generations. Generations
Ah.
was kind of crazy too. Frontier had, I think it had a dragon that like literally brought down a comet.
Oh
to
wow,
kill
that's
you.
sick.
That's Thanos.
Yeah,
Thanos
basically.
dragon. Thanos plant. Thanos dragon.
Yeah, it had Raviente who who like destroyed an entire island. You had to have like 16 hunters to hunt him. That was crazy.
That's
That was a
crazy.
crazy
This is a
time.
good
That's
island.
insane.
They had like Tonfa weapons. It was cool.
Okay, I need time machine.
They had so many weapons.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like Tonfas. Anyway,
But yeah, that's all we have for top of the hour. Probably too much on top of the hour, but it's our last
Yeah.
show, and we have more time to work with. So, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and take a brief song break. We're gonna be playing Snake Eater, which is from the Metal Gear Solid, was featured in Metal Gear Solid 3. This is voiced by Cynthia Harrell, and we're also gonna be playing a Last Surprise cover by Insane in the Rain Music. So, stay tuned, listen to those songs. Both good, great songs. We'll be right back, and we are going to be jumping into our dogfight when we get back.
straight into a dogfight.
Straight into a dogfight.
Dogfight start.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Oh, trust me.
this coming for a long time.
I've
Nano
waited.
machines, son.
Nano machines.
Why won't you die?
All right, here we go.
All right. Be right back. Once again, you listen to Doghouse. Don't touch that dial.
What a thrill with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive for the day we see new light. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. You try to run me through, hold on, think again. Don't you know what you're starting? But you sure ain't got a clue how bad this will go. Don't you know my art of war? And as you look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's caught you cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you. It's not quite what you foretold. You'll never see it coming. You'll see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done in. Let go. Time it's hit you, your last surprise. Just a picosecond ago, clear blue skies, but now lightning struck your last resort. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries as your last strength seems to dissolve. You'll never see it coming. You'll see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done in. By the time it's hit you, your last surprise. I'm coming for you. My game's always so fast, so fine. You're spun in by the net. You didn't catch it in time. Better think about your game. Are you sure your next move's the right one for you? Are you sure you won't get outmaneuvered again and again, my friend? You'll never see it coming. You'll see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done in. By the time it's hit you, your last surprise. I'm coming for you. My game's always so fast, so fine. You're spun in by the net. You didn't catch it in time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You are listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey,
Good.
what's up? What's up, fellow gamers? It's your boy, Windog. That's right. I changed my name just for this moment because I'm gonna
You
win.
could have just said up dog because I only go
I'm
up.
ready.
You could've-
I'm ready to. I'm ready to win.
Win.
You're named
win.
Dingo because you only eat babies. Hello,
'Cause
I'm
you only eat
Dingo.
babies.
That's a good baby. That's you. That's what you sound like.
Alright, well. I like winning the game because I have a good game, not because I think I'm cool. So
Why
let's
didn't you
go
pick a
and get
good
this
game
started.
then?
Well, I did. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Cool. Would you like to go ahead and start us off, good friend?
So yeah.
Sir Husky? I see.
Okay, so as you might have heard from our dog, from us leaving off,
From our dogs.
we're gonna jump right into the last one of this year, the Dogfight. Ooh.
What's the meta scare?
You have the duck hunt noise as he goes off screen.
Today's
That'd be
participants are in the purple corner,
I get it. Teehee. Oh, we're doing that?
represented
Stop
by
saying tee-hee. It's weird.
represented by Dingo Alvarez.
Hold on, let me put it into the official doghouse canon. His last name's
Dingo
Alvarez.
Alvarez. Why? Cool.
Fire Emblem, 3 houses.
Because there's 3 of them.
Not a single one of them's good.
And represented
houses,
in the
indeed.
blue corner,
Sure.
represented
Is
by
this
represented by none other than Updog Spatchnik.
Oh, of course!
I'm Russian.
Of course it's Russian. Of
I'm wearing a
course.
NASA shirt.
It's just all a ploy.
I am undercover agent.
Yeah, I'm undercover.
Pokemon Sword and Shield Edition.
Yeah. Are we
Rusty,
counting?
rusty.
We're counting both of
Cool.
them, right? Because they're the same game.
You
pretty
are
much.
allowed to use both of them, though that may also be used against you.
All right. I'm down with that.
They're both bad, so it's fine.
Feel free to employ that. Employ the fact that there are 2 of them in any way you see fit.
He's only got 1 game. I got 2. I win. That's math, baby.
But how many houses do you have?
Oh no.
How many
Right.
playthroughs do you have?
How many gyms do you have? Not a
We'll
single
get in
one.
that in a bit, but that's
Does your school even have a gym? I don't think so.
actually, it technically does.
Is it
We'll
gym,
talk about it later, but
gym, torture dungeon,
Excuse me.
same thing.
there actually is a torture dungeon. Bears, we'll
oh
talk
my
about it later.
god.
Great.
It's not what you're
Oh
thinking.
my
friend.
God.
Not what you're thinking.
I'm just gonna let you know you're off to a rough start.
You are.
I'll explain it when I get to the story.
Please do.
Oh my lord! I don't even know where to be.
Could I establish something real
Lord,
quick?
Lord, I promise.
Oh, hold on. Actually,
I'll
I would
stop.
like to
I'll
establish
stop
something as
whatever it is
well.
I'm doing.
Can I say something that I think is interesting? The very first Dogfight, I think 2 years ago, was like a franchise battle of Fire Emblem versus
Pokemon. Yep.
So I feel like it's
It's
cool.
a
that-
run back.
Yeah, we're coming back full circle with like the latest releases from
won
both
that one?
series.
I did.
Fire Emblem won that one,
Why?
and
It's about to happen again. That's all I'm
As
saying.
I-
It's
as-
the same issues it had before. It has again.
well, we'll get into that.
So it's fine.
right
Shut
on.
up.
Yeah. Hey, look, all I'm saying is y'all got to make fun of me with me saying things, and so I was just throwing back.
You gotta be good. You gotta be funny though.
You're not throwing back. You're making
throwing
this
back.
longer than it has to be.
Okay.
All right, here we
You're
go.
on thin ice, Alvarez.
Go ahead, friend. Go ahead.
When we
Sorry.
update the
Go
website,
ahead.
his name is to be Dingo Alvarez.
Speaking of wasting time and making things happen that we don't need to happen.
Okay, so these are 2 role-playing games, correct?
Yes.
That's their
They are-
designation.
They
They're
are indeed
RPGs.
RPGs.
RPGs. I'm not gonna have like a super big structure for this, although I do have general arching things that I want to go over.
Okay.
So why don't you guys, first of all, play rock paper scissors, and then we'll open with your winner.
Rock,
gets to
paper,
go.
scissors, shoot. Okay, you go
Boom.
first.
All right,
Oh, I go first. Cool.
or you get to decide. Actually, I guess.
I'll go first. Oh,
All right.
It's fine.
All right. All right. Yeah. Give me your opening statement, and I will say I am looking for not only why you think this is good, but what it does better than the other game. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing. That'll come in later, but this right now, talk. Yeah.
I was
you
about to
get it.
say, I just kind of want to introduce. I think
Introduce
that's kind
me.
of what opening should be. All right, so Fire Emblem Three Houses came out a little while ago. I believe it was in July. But really, really good game. Came off of the press, and everybody was giving it really good reviews because it's a good game. Yeah, it's just a really solid Fire Emblem game that takes what the core series had, expands upon it even further, and also adds a few extra elements. And something I want to kind of say to start this off is something I think is really interesting about this is I kind of link Persona and Fire Emblem Three Houses
What did you
together
just
in some
say?
ways. Oh, hold on, no, wait.
I'm gonna
Hey,
kill you.
My opening
I'm gonna
argument-
rip you in half.
My opening argument. Hold up.
I know,
I get to continue.
That's a valid comparison. I'm just
yeah,
jealous
exactly.
about it.
So, boy.
I am
Anyway.
going to rip you in half.
So the thing about it is, in Persona and in this game, there's a lot of time management. It's very important in this game, just like it was in Persona. Also, just like in Persona, there's a lot of relationship stuff. Granted, there is some, oh, I really like this girl, she's cute, whatever, that crap happens, cool. But, for one, they're all old enough, so it's not like you're lollying, so it's not a bad thing. And two, sorry, lost train of thought. But number two, this actually helps you in combat and some other things, and so it actually has a gameplay reason for everything happening. Right. And that's kind of what I want to end with, is everything that happens in this game happens in order to just extend the fun. So basically, whatever you're doing in the monastery, it happens to affect what happens in the battlefield, it affects the story, it affects a lot of everything. And so yeah, that's what I'll open with.
Wow.
It's my turn.
I just thought I'd go ahead and throw the
Okay.
stuff I knew was thrown
Sure,
my
sure,
way.
sure.
We jumped
So-
right into the deep waters from the get-go. Logan,
All right.
your turn.
I think it was 20. I want to say 2017. We did the first Dogfight. I could be a year off.
I
But
think it was probably 2017. Yeah.
that sounds about right. But like in 2017, our first Dogfight ever. My closing argument that I made was that in the next few years we were going to be seeing new games from both of these franchises. I postulated that Pokemon would continue to trim the fat and streamline their gameplay to keep bringing in like a wider audience and to like build on the Pokemon formula. I also said that Fire Emblem would continue with the anime weebish fan service to the point where it's going to detriment like their gameplay, which it has. These two new Pokemon games are probably the most accessible that we've ever had, and these new Fire Emblem games have completely alienated a good chunk of its audience. So I'm gonna try to do my best to point out why these Pokemon games are an achievement for Game Freak. While I think Fire Emblem's gonna have to do a lot of backtracking after this last Fire Emblem game.
That's an interesting point by both of you. I noticed that there's a trend that something's I can see where this argument is going.
I think everyone knows where this argument is going.
Oh, I know exactly where his argument's going.
Oh Lord!
You ready to go and open up the
I don't
floodgates,
want to have
or-
to pop this. Oh, I don't want to.
I'll
pop
do
this
it.
cork.
I'll let you go ahead and do it.
My Lord. So, as has been mentioned in either of your opening arguments, there is the social simulation part of it and the dating simulation part of it. Bryant, you said it's a good thing because it works towards other mechanics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this was the best way for this to be implemented?
I think it's a really good way to do it. You get
Okay.
a lot of story on these characters too that build on that. A great example in this game is Bernadetta. She has a really, really dark past, and as you build that relationship with her, she learns how to overcome that really dark past. I
Can
don't
we-
wanna spoil too
Let's
much?
note
but-
though, it is a teacher-student relationship for half the game.
You'll have your chance. I asked him the question.
And also, it's not romantic until the later half of the game, where it's no longer a teacher-student relationship and where they're both the same age. I'll say that now. They are all the same age. They are able to
beautiful.
make that decision. And
It's
so,
a beautiful thing.
yes, at least it's not furries. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, let me continue. The relationship aspects of this game, some people think is negative and bad because weeaboos or whatever. But here's the cool thing about it. It doesn't really go there. It doesn't go there at all, actually. And so once you've gone through the relationship sequences, you go to the fights. And if you fight alongside someone that you've built a relationship with, and I'm not talking just a romantic relationship, because you can build friendships with people. That's definitely a thing you can do in this game. But whenever you choose to build friendships with people, whenever you fight alongside those people, you get stat bonuses. So it really helps out if you build relationships within your entire house, and even with people that you can recruit from other houses, because that's another cool thing you can do in this game, is you can recruit other houses to your cause.
Right.
But you can build all these relationships, and that way they can all fight way better than they would if there wasn't a relationship built. It's kind of like, in reality, whenever you have a war buddy, if you're going out to war and you've been shipped out, you grow really close with those people you go to war with.
Can I ask you a
And
question?
so it's a similar concept. Yes.
RPGs are all about like kind of, it's a role-playing game. It's kind of meant to like bring you into the world of the game. It's supposed to be like really immersive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it takes me out of the flow of the game. Like if like the class work these students do is going out and like fighting on the battlefield.
That's part of it, yeah.
That just feels a little bit weird to me. Like, there's
a reason for
Okay.
it. Yeah, it's a storyline reason, and so because of that, I don't want to. Here's one thing I want to say right now: the
Spoilers
stories
are allowed
really
in this
good.
show.
Yeah, I think
Okay, cool.
the game's been out for a while.
So-
You can do
So
that.
I'm going to say
There
this right
is-
now. Spoiler alert.
Yes, thank you. So there's a 5-year time skip at that halfway point in the game where all 3 of these countries are at war. Mainly 2 of them are basically at war with one of the other ones, and so originally they're at these different war. They're at this monastery to practice the art of war to defend their countries. That's the only reason that they're there initially. There's some background elements like the Flame Emperor and the Death Knight, and they kind of push things to a limit. Yeah, he's called Death Knight. But
I don't
anyways,
understand what any of this means, though.
Death gun.
Like,
it's-
why?
They're pushing things to eventually cause a war.
Okay.
And so,
So you have-
Edelgard,
But-
which is the house leader for the Black
Hold on.
Eagles.
So you have backlit. So this whole class, this whole like educative military exercises, these are backlit by movers and shakers that are influencing things in the background that inevitably affect you and bring you into the war.
Yes.
That is what
in
you're
the future.
saying.
Yes.
In the future.
Okay.
How is this? Is this like? And how is this kind of like demonstrated throughout the first half of the game?
It's really foreshadowed a lot.
Okay.
There's a few events that you'll notice certain key characters are missing and then randomly just pop up and you're like, where were you 5 seconds ago? And you'll also see some different things that happen storyline wise as far as like, because each house has its own story that happens as well. That's why I was kind of mentioning that there's actually 4 different endings in this game. Even though there's 3 houses, one of them has 2 endings.
Oh.
And so, so because of that, everything can be affected differently based on what you choose to do. So
Okay. So your argument as far as these relationships go is that first of all they're not weird because they're the same age. So
Yes.
are you the same age as the students you are when you come in to teach? By the way.
yes, you're around the same age, because I believe technically by this age is unknown, quote unquote, but he's like 21 or 22, something like that.
Okay.
And most of the students at that point are 18 or older, and so yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty standard stock as far as maybe not the whole t-shirt thing. That I'll leave. That's still something that's going to be up
I'll
for
say
debate.
this right now. Like I said, it does not get romantic until that 5-year time skip has passed. And at that point, whenever it's not even really a teacher relationship. At that point, you're all just war buddies because you're having to fight.
We've talked about this,
But it's still the same mechanic of your base of you get these relationships so you can get the best kind of
Stat
units
bonuses.
later on.
Yeah. And there's not a
okay.
child mechanic, which is my favorite part about this game. Because
that
was way
the
overly
weirdest thing I've
complicated.
ever seen.
Oh, it was stupid.
That was
I will say that
creepy.
right now. It was dumb.
Okay,
And
so no child mechanic. So this plays
Yes.
in the how like stat bonuses and stuff. these relationships and how you
Yes.
farm your relationships for XP, much like
Not
I do
really.
in real life.
I mean, sure. Okay.
I am
If it
drawing.
wins in the dogfight, sure, Eli.
Well,
I am-
basically, yeah, but
I am draining
No.
your life force right now.
No. Okay, so I kind of
Sure, that actually
understand
happens,
that.
but it's not like that.
Okay.
It's a
Rebuttal?
different character.
Rebuttal. Oh my. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This is weird. Dating your students is weird. It's weird, and it's not even. That's not even my
Together.
biggest problem with the thing. It's
It's just weird.
the idea. It brings up too many issues that are a problem with like today's world. Like this, your main character in the game is in a position of power over these kids, which is one thing. But the idea that they didn't think about that when they implemented the dating mechanic is just kind of like a symptom of a much bigger problem with this game. And that's that it I'm trying to find I've been thinking about this like a whole ever since Three Houses came out. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
Why are you not just one of the students?
So what happens is in the very beginning.
I'm
of
not
this-
talking about story. I'm talking about gameplay.
that's-
Why are you not in
That's
this
the
game?
story, that's
Why are
the-
you not just one of the students who's building up their own house? If that was the case, you
Because
could pick and choose between any of the students and build your own group. Dating wouldn't be a problem. And
Well-
the relationships you build with these other characters would be a lot more meaningful because you have a much bigger
Okay.
effect on them
Will
as a
you
fellow
allow me
student.
to answer the question real
let-
quick?
Let
Sure.
him give his
That's
rebuttal.
Awesome. Well, he asked me a question. That's
Yeah.
why I'm just trying to
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm
so, as far as the choosing students, for one thing, that is something you can do. You can recruit them to that house.
But not all
the
of them.
reason you aren't, well, there's two, because they're dedicated to the leader of the house. The reason they're leaders of the house in the first place is they are all descendants of the rulers of those countries. So for the Black Eagle House, they are the ruler of that country. They are the part of the empire. Then the Prince of Fargus is part of the Blue Lions. He's the leader. The Leicester Alliance, he is going to become the leader of
I
that
get it.
place.
Listen, can I?
And so
can I
that's
just
why.
can I just jump in?
That's-
None of that is
I'm saying,
actually
that's why.
relevant to the game, though. Like when they sat down to design the game, they didn't say okay, this is our world, and now we need to figure out a way to worm into it. They built the world ground up to reflect the gameplay mechanics. Okay, you compared this game to Persona really hard. The thing about Persona is it's a social simulator with RPG elements. That means that every decision you make has a big effect on the world, and managing your time is really important. There's 17 different endings in Persona, but in Fire Emblem Three Houses we only have 4 endings.
Mhm. That's more than Pokemon.
Yeah, well, that's irrelevant. But Fire Emblem Three Houses has 4 endings because they took elements of social simulator and they took the Fire Emblem, but they couldn't balance the two very well. It feels honestly, it doesn't even feel like you're a main character in the story. It
Have
feels
you played Fire Emblem Three Houses?
yes, there's these house leaders.
You
who-
have played it.
No,
Okay.
I have not.
Continue.
These house leaders feel like they're the main characters, like you're following them in these storylines.
Yep.
But I would much rather be the main character making my own story. Does that make sense? I would
Okay.
rather be, if they're going to put in this social simulating thing, I would rather be the one pulling the strings and building these relationships that have to come up later on. All the awkwardness that comes up with romance is a symptom of that lack of balance between the two things.
Okay.
And I think the biggest reason this has come up is because RPGs, hardcore RPGs, are in decline. You see fewer and fewer of them over the years. The ones that have been able to hang on, like Persona and Pokemon, have had to really change up what they do to make the games more immersive with turn-based combat. Pokemon, they decided to clean the slate with the meta as far as competitive stuff is concerned. They decided to cut the fat on the formula. And Fire Emblem decided to put in some bastardized social mechanics. I don't know any other way to put it. It just feels like they're trying to stack too many boxes on a base that is really unstable. Like even like when we get to like, I know we're probably going to talk about it in a bit, but like the hardcore like fighting bits of the game, they look like garbage. They look like a 3DS game because they couldn't focus on that. You know, they had to just like balance too many things. They're balancing too much at once is basically what I'm trying to say.
If we're going to talk about 3DS games, can we talk about the Pokemon models and how they're the exact same ones as the ones from the 3DS?
I was going to say, if you would like to rebuttal, you can at this point. Or,
and also,
I'm
rebuttaling. Like,
bring it.
Okay,
by all means.
Go ahead.
So that's a problem because especially since the company that made the game itself said they were going to remake these models. So I'll let you explain that in a little bit as to why. No.
Game Freak is. I'm not defending Game Freak. I'm defending the games.
Then I'm not defending Nintendo and their decision to how to make the game. I'm defending the game itself as it is.
I'm just pointing out the reasons
how the game
I'm
was
just pointing
made,
out why Three Houses is
doesn't
crap, not necessarily like all this.
I'm
like,
pointing out why Pokemon's crap. What's your point?
Okay. You know what?
We're gonna
continue.
We're gonna have order in the court, please.
Sure.
All right. This may be a dog fight, but we are not dog savages.
Dog savages, as opposed to
Friendly
what is a
dogs. I don't know.
What is a non-dog savage?
Puppy.
A poodle.
Puppy poodle. Poodle
Right.
puppy.
I'm sorry. Please continue with your.
All right.
Yeah.
I do love this. So.
It is getting rather heated.
All right. So. I've heard a lot of Fire Emblem. I want to get into a little bit of Pokemon. So we know where this is going with Pokemon. So like I gave you a chance to first defend your position. I'll let you defend the position that you think he's going to bring up. Make a case.
Okay.
Or would you rather him go? Actually, he hasn't got to make his rebuttal yet, I don't believe. Because it was just kind of a...
Yeah, you can go ahead.
It kind of got crazy.
Why don't you...
That's my bad too, so apologies.
Why don't you prepare your forces and go ahead and...
Attack Pokemon.
Tell me why your game is better than Pokemon, or
Attack
why
on
Pokemon
Pokemon.
is not as good as your game.
All right.
Based on
I've just
any
got a
criteria
few-
that you want.
Sure.
Okay, I've got a few small things. I'm just going to kind of bring these up. So I want to say this for sure. Multiplayer-wise, Pokemon's pretty good. It's not bad.
Sure.
Being able to go on a raid battle with some buddies, that's sweet. Playing by yourself sucks.
All right.
For one, you don't get to trade with anybody. For two, the raid battles, when you're by yourself, the AI usually sucks. I know that from experience because I tried multiple times with the AI to catch a raid Gigantamax Snorlax, and it never happened. And once I jumped online, I beat it within the first try. And so the AI suck. Lacking post-game. And by that I mean there basically really isn't a post-game. You beat the champion, you have like this little 5-minute like run around everywhere again for 2 seconds, and then your post-game is done. There's no replayability in this game because there's no story in this game, which, I mean, that's kind of par for the course with Pokemon, so I can understand that.
Sorry?
The starters, I think, is one of my most negative things about this game. And my reason for that is the starters are like your partner. That is the person that you start that journey with, and you want to finish with that person. And I think all three of these starters are really weak. I loved Sobble, but Inteleon sucked. Like, as soon as he evolved into his final form, it was bad. I've heard the same issues with Cinderace and with, I don't even remember the grass one's name, Rillaboom?
Rillaboom.
Yes.
Rillaboom.
But I've heard the same issues with them. They just fall off stat-wise, move-wise, just everything-wise, which sucks because one of my favorite things in Pokemon is the starters. Speaking of starters, the only one that comes back is Charizard. Where's my Blastoise love? I love the boy with the cannons and stuff like that. Like, that's so cool.
Sure.
And like all these other favorite Pokemon that never got to, they're not going to get to come back for this game. And that kind of stinks. And I've got one little other thing besides all these things that I've already mentioned.
This is a genuine cough. I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
No, you're
I'm sorry.
good. If you need to cough, dude, you're
No, it's
fine.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want your help to be.
I'm not trying to
risk.
interrupt your thing. I'm just coughing.
Yeah, you're fine. And then like my last thing is it doesn't utilize all the mechanics very well in this game. And I'm gonna list 2 examples.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got examples because I don't want to just say it and be like, boo. So the campsite, I've literally used it once, and after that, I never used it again because it's kind of a waste of time. It really doesn't do anything as far as extending how gameplay works or whatever. I don't think it really helps with anything.
Doesn't it heal all your Pokemon?
If you cook, but that also takes its own. It takes time, and it's just why not
But I
pop
mean-
some super potions and do it anyways.
But
And then
okay.
the other thing is, I don't even know what this thing does, by the way, just to clarify. But whenever you go on the menu, there's like a VS mode, it says, I've always pronounced it as versus mode. But I go on it, and it's not a versus mode. Could you clarify on what it is and why it's in the game?
Are you talking about the cat toy mode?
No, it's okay, so you go on the menu, and it's the green icon. It's got a little V and a circle around it. It's VS. And I've gone on it, and I have no idea what it
Do you
does.
have your Switch with you right now?
I
Is
do
that
not.
Local multiplayer.
Otherwise, I would have. No, because local multiplayer is a completely different thing.
It's the thing
So.
that compares you to
You've
local.
played Pokemon
It
Sword and
compares
Shield,
you to
right?
local.
I have played it actually a little
Okay,
bit.
cool.
It compares you to local. From what I see, it compares you to local Switch users based on your accomplishment. But like it also, there's some kind of mode where you can like click something where it lets you. I don't know.
You don't know either, really?
It compares you to local multiplayer.
It's,
Like what?
it is really weird. I don't know what it's.
You
That's
don't know what it's
interesting.
for. Yeah, but it's just, it's
I-
got these weird things in it that
Yeah,
I don't
I-
know what it does, and it's a weird mechanic.
I would say
So-
more, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
Sure.
I want
yeah.
to stay neutral. So
I played. I haven't beaten it, but I played. I played Shield for a bit. I think as far as the starters go, you're free to have that opinion. I don't. It's weird. I can't really argue whether the starters are bad or good because art design is kind of like subjective.
Oh, no, I'm not talking art. I'm talking, like, in-game.
In-game?
Like, using them.
Using them,
They're bad.
I think they're not as strong, which I would think makes your other Pokemon more important. And I'm okay with that. I think this whole. I think as far as like I think they looked at like making teams and like the more nuanced mechanics of Pokemon more important. Like there's a lot of the cutesy ones, but they've also brought in a lot of ones that are good for competitive and have some like go into the more complicated factors in Pokemon. If they made the starters weaker, I would think that is to make the whole team like stronger, if that makes sense. Like you all gain EXP together, so you kind of instead of just like mowing through the whole game with your starter, it gives you more chances to like you have to use the other Pokemon, which means you get to know them more and you get to understand how they fight better, which will help you a lot more in competitive play, which is like a big part of this game. As far as like cutting out Pokemon, I think it's good for the series as a whole because now like the meta for this game is like for competitive has been completely reset. We're not going to see Aegislash win over and over for the next 5 years like we did with Sun and Moon, but I digress. God, you covered a lot of the 3D models.
Yeah, I can pull the list back up if you need me
yeah.
to.
I think the models are fine. I didn't have any like they don't look bad. I mean, the animations look fine too. Some people turn them off because the game goes faster that way. Everyone I've talked to who's played the game said it was fine. Like nobody, I haven't met anyone who had like a big problem with it. I don't know. Maybe it's a little scummy that Game Freak has got skeletons in their closet, but I mean, who doesn't? You know, Blizzard.
Blizzard.
But
I agree with that
yeah.
one.
Okay.
As far as Blizzard.
I'm
went,
sorry, there was
yeah.
a lot.
Do you need me to pull
he
up
mentioned
some other
in-game
things?
and bad solo
Endgame.
play.
Okay, bad
Yes.
bad solo play.
I want you to cover why the game. He mentioned specifically the game is not nearly as fun if you're playing it solo. You need an internet connection to enjoy it at all.
Not even internet connection, but just people to play with.
People to play with.
Because you can do the local.
I don't know.
Bluetooth
I've
thing.
talked to a lot of people who said it was fun. So I think if they changed it a whole lot, it would probably alienate like the Pokemon fan base at this point. And there isn't really a whole lot they need to change as far as like the campaign goes with Pokemon. And really, like multiplayer has always been the big thing with Pokemon. Playing other real life people has been the biggest part of it for me, at least. I think they have switched up a lot of stuff in the single player that makes it more exciting for me. Like going through the wild area and being chased by Machamp is probably the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in a Pokemon game.
That's fair.
Okay, so the camp I think is really fun. I got to play with like an Eevee. I was just like swinging a cat toy around and just going after it. It was pretty fun. I didn't grab many items. So I didn't really pay attention to the items I had. So like I had a lot of fun cooking and just goofing around with the Pokemon. I think I kind of became emotionally attached to some of them, which is going to be hard whenever I do the Nuzlocke. And I have to kill them one by one. Anyway.
It really do be like that.
Yeah. You said you got through it really fast. I think if you've played one Pokemon game, you get through all of them really fast. To be fair, you know, they don't take a long time to beat unless you're doing like the 100% stuff, which has gotten a lot easier because all the Pokemon level up after you beat the champion of the game, which means you don't have to like, it doesn't add on that extra layer of searching for really strong Pokemon out of the ones that you're trying to hunt down. Yeah, I feel like the stuff you're complaining about, like a lot of it, if they didn't do it, you would be bringing up a lot of the stuff like from pre-Sword and Shield, like I have to level up each Pokemon, or like it takes so long to do all this stuff.
But see, to me, those were never issues. I played through Gen 4 and 5 and Gen 1 and Gen 2. I didn't really like Gen 2.
Leveling up,
You didn't like Gen 2?
Gen 3. 3.
Oh.
I wasn't a big fan of 3. Too much water. Anyway. Seriously, IGN said that, but I kind of sadly agreed. But anyway,
All right, move on.
This game's too wet.
Anyway.
Somebody get a towel.
But I didn't think... You're not wrong. I'm just saying, like, it really...
Oh God, here comes
I thought
Wind
it was too
Waker.
much. I really just... There's a difference in how it worked there, but I digress.
Sure.
Anyways. So, now I've lost my train of thought.
You
Yeah.
didn't address
Sorry.
in-game, by the way.
Endgame?
Oh, wait, yes, you did.
I did.
Yeah, never mind.
How did you address Endgame?
Yeah,
I'm trying to
address-
remember how that worked.
Well, okay, Endgame is like collecting all the Pokemon, right?
I don't consider that Endgame.
Well, you're wrong!
do
That's
that.
always been the Endgame.
I don't.
You
I
gotta
feel
catch
like-
them all. It's
I feel
in the
like-
theme song.
Yeah, but you can't catch them all in this one for
Goodness
one. We've already
gracious.
talked about that.
Maybe you just suck at Pokemon.
Number 2,
It's the easiest RPG, and you
a
can't
post
even
game
play
isn't a post game isn't. Oh, go catch all the Pokemon.
Post-game
How many
is
people
completing-
do you know? How many people do you know that have filled out the complete Pokedex? In,
Nobody.
in a
The game
Pokemon
hasn't been out that long. No one's had
in
time
any
to do it.
Pokemon game. How many people do you know that
Several
have filled them out?
people. I know a couple people who've beaten Red all the way. I got close. I didn't do it all the way. I couldn't find
I know very few.
the one that teleports. The little
Abra?
I couldn't find Abra.
So really, it's early.
Yeah, he's right next to the Nugget Bridge.
Sell it on. Anyway,
I gotta go.
Why do I know that?
yeah. I actually, yeah.
Because you spent the time
Well,
playing
you can
Pokemon.
also
It's a
use
good
that
game.
bridge if you don't fight the trainer to do the Mew glitch. But anyway,
Okay.
but that's not, like I said, it's not really
Listen.
a post game.
Post game is like you've got your campaign for a game. That's a story which you beat, right?
Yes.
Post game is like anything you haven't done yet. For you, is post game like a second like
It's
campaign,
whatever else you
or-
can do that adds to the overall experience.
Yeah, catching every
Catching
single
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
No. 'cause-
Yeah, you got to fill out the Pokedex.
yeah, I'm just
I
going to
have
throw
a
them in the box
question.
and not do anything with them.
Mario,
I mean,
I have a
Mario.
question. So when it comes to Super Mario Odyssey, that was a bit of collectathon.
Yeah.
This whole thing at the end of the game was that
Mushroom Kingdom.
you go and collect all the
All the moons,
Power moons,
that you
whatever
didn't
they-
get in the campaign.
whatever they
Yeah.
freaking
I didn't
called.
consider that post game.
What is
as far as
wrong with
collecting all
you?
of them. No, listen. No, I
Well-
considered post game the Mushroom Kingdom and just getting to explore it for a little
At
bit.
least you're
And that's all I did.
consistent.
Yeah,
Consistently wrong.
Well, at least you're consistent.
that's my
in thinking
opinion
you're
on how a
consistently
post game
wrong.
works.
I don't know.
It's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. With Breath of the Wild, it was just going and getting the motorcycle at the end of, and then driving it around for a little bit. Like that was it. That was my post game. And now, granted, that may not be your definition of a post
I
game,
don't-
but for me, that's just I beat
Okay.
Ganon,
All right,
and all
you know
I
what?
wanted to do was
Okay.
get the motorcycle, and that's what I considered it.
So do you not plan on getting all the Pokemon?
No,
This
a lot
game-
of them were just worthless to get in the first place.
All right, that takes, I don't know, like 100 hours out of the game, 70 hours at least out of your playthrough. If you feel comfortable paying $60 for like a 10-hour game, that's fine. But for anyone else who feels inclined to do so, they can collect every single Pokemon or just as many as they want. Also, the Game Freak went on Twitter and said this. They are going to add more Pokemon to the game. Probably not every single one, but at the very least, we're probably going to see more Gen 1 Pokemon.
When did
Like,
they say that?
They said it like during the whole controversy that was going on. They said the Pokemon that are not in this game will be coming back. I don't I don't think they're going to put every single Pokemon in the game. This game is like, I don't think it's big enough for all of them. I think they,
I want to judge the game as is.
sure. I think I'm fine with a lot of the. I think taking out old Pokemon and putting in new ones is probably the best way to go. It's probably something they should have been doing for a while. I mean, there had to be a point where we said like we've got enough.
I think we should probably just go ahead and jump into
what
positives.
I want you to tell me. You criticize his in game in the bad soul way. What does Fire Emblem bring to the table in that way? Because you mentioned I'm pretty sure you specifically mentioned those for a reason, correct?
Yeah, because this brings the magic of replayability. You see,
4 times.
You go through the story, and then you can go and use that save progress to go and play through another story through another house. Or if you're at that one house, you do the other storyline. So the cool thing about this is the reason I consider this an end game, where I don't consider these other things end games, is there are enhancements that come with these other playthroughs that you don't have the first time you go. So a great example is in Fire Emblem Three Houses. There are these statues that give you stat bonuses and also give you EXP bonuses. They give you a lot of bonuses. And whenever you complete the game and start at another house, all those points that you accumulated through this first playthrough come through this one. So you get to power yourself up the exact way you were at the end of this other one, and just kind of, you're not really hulking out because you're not at that same level, but you get there much quicker. And so there's that. There's the relationship value things, like we've kind of discussed before. You can actually use some of those points to go back and remake those relationships the same way they were. So a great example is if I really, really liked a certain character from Blue Eagle's house, like I like Felix, and I A-ranked the relationship ranking with him, I can use my points to get back with an A rank, recruit him, and then we'll have that same bonus we had at the end game.
Okay.
And so it keeps going because of that, and that also adds a lot of replayability, like I said. So in-game and replayability, as far as Fire Emblem Three Houses goes, they're actually really interconnected, which I like about it. So that's why I mentioned those things.
Okay. And you said, obviously, I know how Fire Emblem works. It's one of those games that's supposed to be kind of played solo. What does it bring in the way of multiplayer?
There's nothing multiplayer.
Okay.
But that's because it's a single-player game, like
That's
you said.
fair.
So,
That's I'm not gonna.
That's fair. And by
That's kind of
fair,
one of the-
I mean it's awful.
Well,
I'm joking.
There's not enough
Right now.
solo. There's not enough solo gameplay in Mario
I
Kart.
can't-
What is this?
That's one thing that I have an easier time with defending than you do, because you have both aspects and I have one.
I think I do them both pretty well.
And so, well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that does give me an easier time.
Can I
So can
trade
give
my
you that.
Blythe for your?
Your what?
Can I trade my Fire Emblems for your Fire Emblems? Can we trade Fire Emblems?
Can you give me an Ike for
Can
this
I-
Crom over
but
here?
can I-
That
We
brings
can't do
me
that, though.
to
You can
this.
actually-
Why do you think Pokemon is better than Fire Emblem? Because we kind of went with yours.
Sure.
You saying that. Why you believed? I think
In-game stuff?
why you believed your game was better than I believe I asked you that question. That's the first
Maybe,
question I
yeah.
asked.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think yours?
I think this Pokemon is really, really good and better than Fire Emblem because they took a look at They've been experimenting a little bit. They did some work with Sun and Moon, and they did some work with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which people were all like, there was a unanimous kind of about both games. But they took the elements that worked from both of those, and they used them to like make a really interesting Pokemon game that's probably like the most immersive and the most easy to play for anyone. On the other hand, Fire Emblem, it feels like if they had gone all out by making like an old school Fire Emblem game with like incredible graphics where you see like huge battalions of soldiers moving around, I would be totally on board. I would get that in a heartbeat. And if they spent a lot of time like cutting some of the fat on the mechanics and maybe making it so it's not totally like turn-based, maybe put some extra stuff in there, maybe put in more spectacle, kind of like Gigantamaxing in Pokemon, that'd be really cool too. Like if every time you cast a spell, it would be like a huge thing that changes the whole battlefield. You know, that could be really, really cool. But it just doesn't. There are all these things that could have been with Fire Emblem. Like if they had gone all the way to the social simulator side, where like every single playthrough is different and like every decision you make can make or break an important alliance later on.
So what
You
I'm
know.
getting is that you're saying that like they didn't go big enough with the spectacle, or like they didn't commit one way or the other, in which they should have doubled down and kind of that would have made it better
Yeah, I
instead
think
of being a game of two minds is what you're saying.
We've got like a
And then you're saying that kind of Pokemon lacks substance.
Yes.
And yeah, okay.
And it's just way too quick. It's over. Boom.
I think.
But I will say this: Fire
You
Emblem's
seem to
never been
have-
about graphics.
Oh my, duh.
It's never been about graphics. It's always just been about the gameplay itself.
The characters.
I mean,
are
you
so
look at the
dumb
3DS
in this
games.
game too.
The 3DS games, they don't even have feet.
They did their best with what they were working with.
Well, but here's
at the
my
very
point.
least.
It's
I mean,
just not about the visuals.
Pokemon has never been super graphically amazing either. It had its roots in like
Game Boy as well.
Game Boy as
Game
well.
Freak is not a
Yeah, but this
technical
game looks
studio.
pretty good. Like every now and then a frame rate will drop, or like a texture will. Like,
If you're
kinda-
online, it's bad.
yeah, we'll
but-
kind of go like, bleh,
Yeah.
But like all in all, the game looks pretty good. Fire Emblem's got some really bad graphics.
Like what though? Like, can you give me some examples?
There's this part where you go into like, I don't know where it is. I guess it's at the school, but like you look at these food carts, and instead of like rendering individual fruits, they put out like a texture
Yeah,
that
it's
just
like
has
a PNG.
pictures of fruits on it, like a PlayStation 2 game. And like the overall map, I'm like,
Okay,
I'm
Pokemon
staring
trees.
I'm staring at my plasma screen.
Pokemon trees.
Oh no, my trees.
Oh no, my fruit.
I'm staring at like this big map that is supposed to be where I'm supposed to care about this part of the game. It's the fight. It's the big thing. It's what I've been training for. And it's like someone took a 3DS screen and just stretched it across a canvas for
It
me
really
to look
doesn't
at.
look that bad.
I mean, there are these bits where you can attach like battalions of soldiers to individual
Yeah,
characters.
I was going to say that's a good idea. I see what you're doing.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, keep talking.
But keep going.
There's this bit where you can attach like individual soldiers to like or individual units of soldiers to like different characters. So they're supposed to have like 10 or 20
The
guys.
adjutants system? Are you talking about that? Where you can like add someone that's not in
No,
the
I
fight
mean like
as a thing?
the battle maps, like when you're actually fighting.
Okay, what about that then?
It looks like hot garbage.
I really don't. I don't see it. I think they look fine.
I think
This?
go.
It's that one right there on the right.
This one?
No,
Yeah.
that's
That's the one I'm talking about.
that is Three Houses. Yep. That's like the very first map too.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful bean footage.
It doesn't look bad.
It looks awful.
No, it really doesn't
Oh
look
my!
that
Look at
bad.
that.
It looks fine.
It looks gross.
And then whenever you get into the combat, even it looks fine. Like
it looks like a mobile game.
all right.
We're all just staring at a screen on a radio show.
Yeah, you can look it up. Fire Emblem Three Houses battle maps. It'll be one of the options there. Not the one that looks like it's from a
It
Game
just
Boy
looks
game.
boring. Even if you could argue that it looks like okay for like a console game.
It looks like
in
a wild area.
2019, it still looks like hot trash.
It looks like a wild area. to
Wild
me,
area
Chief.
looks like Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild looks
It
fine.
does not look like Breath of the Wild.
It's just
That is a really big
cell-generated
statement.
wilderness. It's fine.
It does not look anything like Breath of the Wild. Oh my
It looks
word!
it looks beautiful.
So bad. Oh my god, they both suck.
Oh my God. I remember
Are we going to closing arguments? Because we
Sorry.
need to do the Game Awards too.
I remember there's this bit in Fire Emblem, one of the ones for the Game Boy,
Mm-hmm.
where this character who like used to be the leader of a pirate band, he dies, right? It can happen. Like sometimes
Oh, their characters.
your
that die in
character
Fire
your character
Emblem.
dies.
Absolutely.
You know, there's permanent death. He's like he's screaming out. He's like he's begging for like anything to save him. He's screaming that he can't die yet, that he's got to save, like he's got to avenge his comrades who were killed, and finally he just he dies. His soul is like taken off to the afterlife or whatever. And then what's her name, Bernadette or whatever, dies in Three Houses. She says, "I really wish I could have died in my room." 'Cause
Yep.
she's the shy character who only spends time in her room sleeping.
But there's a reason for that. I actually kind of
Oh,
illuminated that earlier.
no.
But that's
She
why the
wanted to die in
relationship
her
thing's
room.
important. But
Well, you're free to rebuttal.
well,
That's
that's why
over
the
the last one.
relationships are important. If you just see that, then yeah, she's just a shy girl and she died in her room. She wishes she died in her room. Cool.
It just feels like I'm
but
watching.
if you get to know who the person is, it's completely different.
It feels
There's
like
a
I'm
reason she
watching-
feels that way.
Go ahead and explain the reason. Why did she feel that way?
I'll go ahead and re-look up her backstory so I can tell you guys. There's like a lot of
like-
characters,
oh.
okay? So it's okay that I'm having to look up a backstory. What's the backstory for Pikachu?
Pikachu
oh,
He's
right.
an animal.
It's an animal.
It's an animal.
It's a rat.
Thank you. Exactly. That's my
It
point.
doesn't
get
need
to-
a complex back.
That's my point.
You get
They're
to make-
all stupid animals. I
Okay.
have actual people that have stories and lives that they
But
were
their
living.
stories suck.
They
it's like I'm
really
watching a
don't.
dumb shonen anime, and I'm not even the main character.
Okay, here we go.
Oy, oy, vey.
Bernadetta is born as the eldest daughter and heir of the son of Count Varley. She's extremely shy towards strangers. The only place she feels at ease is her room. Her reclusive behavior is due to extensive trauma she experienced in her childhood at the hands of her own father. Count Varley personally groomed her to become a perfect wife, subjecting her to grueling training such as tying her to a chair and forcing her to remain quiet and submissive for hours. Bernadetta would dread these sessions, often kicking and screaming to avoid them. She found respite only in her solitude.
This game is really creepy.
That's a story.
That's a weird story.
It is, but that's the
In
point.
context of the rest of the game, though, that's really weird.
Okay, cool. I can look up Pokedex entries.
Maybe
Anyways,
that's why it's so easy
So,
for
but
older
that's
men
the
to date her,
point.
though.
they're not old men. They're the same age.
I said older men.
I don't have anything else to say to this.
Can you not see how weird this is, though? This is catering to a
Can
very
we
different audience
please
than the
do
original
ending
Fire Emblem
arguments
games.
because we're just going in
Give
circles
me
now.
closing arguments.
Thank you. I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go first, Logan.
I don't look. Pokemon's always been really good. I think this one trimmed a lot of the fat and made it better. I like a lot of the stuff that they did. I can get more personally attached to Pokemon. Doing hard things like dealing with natures and stuff has been a lot easier. I think the game looks pretty good graphically. It's definitely what I expected to see like on a console version of Pokemon. I don't know when Fire Emblem... Well, I do know when it was Fire Emblem Fates, but like Fire Emblem went from being like this epic fantasy with like hard as nails mechanics and stuff to being just like a weird, a really weird anime, and it's alienated a lot of the fan base. And frankly, like I was really excited to see what the next Fire Emblem game was, but now I just kind of want to forget about it. That's my closing arguments.
Cool. All right. So I've got a little list of things that I think Three Houses does better. For one, like I said earlier, there are some things that I think it links to Persona as far as the time management stuff you have to do, teaching your students what you do in the monastery. A lot of that is all time-based. And so because of that, those mechanics are very similar. Interesting characters with unique relationships built with each and every individual in the game. Even the gatekeeper of the monastery is one of the best people to talk to in this game. He's super funny. Fun combat. It makes you strategize. I know you talked about how the old Fire Emblem games were just really good because of the battle system. Battle system hasn't changed. It's the same thing. And they've added more stuff with combat arts and the fact that the weapon triangle is completely gone.
What? Wait,
Yeah,
what?
That's right. The weapon triangle is gone.
Why?
Because combat arts, which is a way better institution. So
I'm
also
so done
another
with-
cool
oh my
thing that this
God.
game does, another great thing that this game does is the way that they handle magic. Instead of having to handle specific tomes and therefore you can use that magic, you actually have to learn that magic and then you can use it a certain amount of times per battle because it's like you have a magical energy inside you, so you can only do it a certain amount of times before you like die. So yes, combat's still really good. The story is actually a story for one thing, and there's also 4 alternative endings. And like I read with Bernadetta's backstory, it can be really dark and gruesome. There's always something to do in the monastery. You can fish, you can cook, you can talk with your students, you can have lunch with them to therefore help with the relationships and also build their motivation for whenever you teach them, because that's another aspect of the game I didn't talk about. But you can also just talk to the other professors and they can teach you. There's just a lot of really cool things that allow you to build your units how you want them to be built, and therefore you can play the game however you want to do, instead of you finding a unit and they've already been built a specific way and that's how you have to use them. That's my closing argument.
You can change most of the stuff about your Pokemon, though. Like you can select moves out of a certain pool and change their
Closing
nature.
arguments.
That's fine. Your closing argument has depressed me. You look like you were pushed.
I don't
off
think
of a
he
building.
wants to do this one. I think he wants to
You
make
look
both
how
of
I
them
felt
lose.
after like the Monster Hunter
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts one.
I
Just-
felt bad.
This is what I looked like
Yeah.
at the end
I
of
felt
Skyward
bad
Sword
for
no
putting you
Kami.
through that because I was like, I was sounded so stupid at the end of that. I was like, why did I go with the old ones? Why did I focus on this?
Aye.
You guys should have thought about that before you focused on kink shaming for this entire thing.
Well, I mean, if it's in the game, it's in the game.
I don't want to have to pick one.
It's a draw, folks. I'm just-
No.
It was a joke. It was a prank.
You have a coin?
I have a credit card you
I'm
can
about to-
flip.
I have a credit card you can
No,
flip.
I'm just joking. I don't need a coin.
Oh, I was just making.
I'll flip a coin
I
in
was
my mind.
going along with it.
I'll imagine a coin and see which side it lands on.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do thumb break for this one.
Oh
Okay.
boy, here we go.
All right.
In that case, I'm gonna go get some water because I'm parched.
Okay, I'm going to play some Monster Hunter music, Monster Hunter jazz. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Don't touch that dial. back to the Doghouse. Latest in gaming news. Review.
I'm kind of okay
You
with
just
the
got all
somber
the
opening.
energy is drained out of you.
You're here with your host, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
He didn't even do the thing.
Oh my gosh,
I think we killed him.
he's got nothing left.
I have to decide who's gonna die, Fire Emblem or Pokemon.
This is exactly how I felt.
Quite frankly, I would be at peace with either because they are both the most overrated RPGs of all time.
I think Undertale is a little bit more overrated.
I can agree with that statement.
That's my that's a personal thing. I mean, it's good, but like,
Very overrated is
Sure.
a good. Yeah, I agree. And sometimes I think
The look
Xenoblade
you're
1
giving
has
me
that
right
too.
now. it's-
I want to say, you didn't do yourself any favors with the whole. I can understand.
Yeah,
I
kinda had to come
understand where
head
you're
on with
coming
it.
from
Yeah,
with the whole relationship thing, and trying to like building the relationships helps to enhance the game in that way. And I didn't really get to ask you how it what's the difference between each game. I assume they're all just three very different campaigns, correct?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just take your word for it. It's
4.
Okay.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
But yeah, when I kept trying to probe it, I'm like, yeah, surely it's not as bad. And I don't think it's as bad as Logan tried to make it out, but it is really weird, in my opinion.
Okay.
As far as Pokemon goes, yeah, I think he's right in that I've played it, so I know that yeah, there's Pokemon to catch, but that's a monotonous affair. I think it does lack in a lot of content, but there are a lot of good steps that's taken in the right direction. I haven't got to play Fire Emblem, so I don't know the steps it's taken, but I do know that it has at least a 40-hour campaign in just one playthrough. Oh my god, I don't know.
Dude, it's rough. I feel.
Is this like if I kill one, if the one that loses, that franchise disappears forever? Or is it just
What?
like this
I
game
think
It's
disappears?
just this game for sure.
I think the way we usually end up settling it is just
Okay.
yeah.
If you'd shoot one right now in the face, I guess something like that. I don't know.
Pretty much.
I will say there are times where both of you were making really good arguments, and both of you where I was just like, what are these? What are you saying? What are you telling me this? Oh my lord. I can't. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Honestly, I'm pretty proud I made it this hard. Just because I figured it would end up being
Well,
some kind of a sweep.
I'm also acutely aware of Pokemon stuff, but I also have to
Yeah, you have
divorce myself from that
to, and that's
aspect and look at it the way he presented it.
actually I still need this out because I have a couple words.
I would say, based on what I've heard, Logan's original claim was that Pokemon would trim that he. I think that based on the framing he gave himself at the beginning, I think that barely he closes this out.
Yeah.
I want to say that. You're by the skin of your teeth.
I saw it coming. You're good.
It wasn't due to the weird thing. It was due to you framing it that way at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I will say, Brian, I'm sorry.
So no, I'm looking at my
Brian?
Game Awards again. I'm sorry.
Brian?
You're good. What? Cool.
I want to congratulate you. You did a really good job. I don't think Fire Emblem's as bad as Logan's making it out to be, based on the argument that I've heard today. I haven't actually got to catch up on it at all. That might be a good thing for me to do from now on, so I can actually have more context.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about these dogfights for the judge, is if it's a game he hasn't played versus a game he has played. That's hard.
I think we need more structure for these dogfights.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
I
like
think that's what I'm going to do over the break.
That's how I felt with Okami and Skyward Sword. I had played Skyward Sword. I have not played Okami.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I always have pretty good structure. Like, I have prepared questions and stuff. That's really all it comes down to. Is just figuring out.
I think we just need to have like prepared like ways to
You just need to
compare
find a
these.
comparative factor between the two games
Yeah.
and base questions around that.
I think the judge needs to be better informed about, like,
Oh,
not
so
better
now it's
informed,
my fault
but
that
no.
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Hey,
lost.
I am blaming no. Listen, I am blaming myself just as much because here's my thing. I think I'm part of the reason that Skyward Sword lost the Okami fight too,
No, that
because
was-
I hadn't played Okami and I don't have. Because of that, I
Oh my
have a
God.
vision already of how Skyward Sword
All right.
looks.
I
Does
will
that make
say,
sense?
Yeah.
I will say that
I'm not trying to do anything.
we
like
might have
that,
to do a
though.
best of
It's-
2
this
out of
is
3
a-
when the next of these two.
Oh my god!
franchises
If
comes
we're still
out.
doing this show by
By
that
then,
time,
yeah, that's
I'm gonna jump in front of a bus.
Yeah, I'm not
All right.
dogfighting this again, friend.
Here's
Sorry.
a new. You know what? I made a prophecy at the end of the last time we did this. Here's a new one. If we're still doing this show by the time the new Fire Emblem and Pokemon games come out, I will jump in front of a bus.
That's how the bus is going to sound trying to break as he
All
jumps in
right.
front of it.
I'll be screaming, "Do it! Do it!
Yeah,
Come on, hit me.
I don't want to live in this world anymore." Unless
Pokemon barely scrapes by. I will say that it has this game with a lot of problems.
it's a critical attack. Go up, dog, for the win.
It's just like
Is Updog and Eevee?
there's a lot of fun to be had with Pokemon, and I'm assuming that there's
Yes.
a lot of there's a lot of
Wait,
fun
no,
to be had
Yamper.
with Pokemon when the system works. I assume it's the same with Fire Emblem.
I don't know what you guys are talking
When the
about.
system
Honestly,
works.
in my heart of hearts, I probably think that Fire Emblem is worse than the way I've described it. I have no respect for your game whatsoever. I am
I-
unapologetic in this victory.
That's great.
The only reason I haven't resold Sword and Shield is because Fish asked me to do the Gym Leader Challenge, so I feel that.
How much you selling?
If
it
I
for?
was allowed to do a draw, I
Mm.
would
It's
because
Sword,
honestly,
so I don't know if
neither
you'd
of you
want
made a good case. The only reason I kept it structured, as I did, was because I didn't keep it as structured as I did was because I could already tell you guys were wanting to chomp at the bit about the dating your students thing. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna
Yeah.
let them go off,
Here we go.
which it was
my
very
thought-
entertaining.
you know what? To be fair,
thought
he brought it
process-
up first.
But that's exactly, and that was my
So-
thought process, was to go ahead and get that out of the way.
I think
because
you-
I knew as soon as this was considered that was going to be the first thing brought up.
I think you talked about it more than I did.
Well, that's because he kept asking me about it too. He asked me questions about, well, what about this? Does it really help the gameplay?
I had
what?
bigger.
And so I explained.
I had
You know
bigger
what?
fish to
We
fry with
should've
that
done
game
this
anyway.
At the end of the show.
Probably.
Should have done this at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Moving on though,
We were just excited, I guess.
we do have another segment though.
We're gonna have to do this pretty quick, I guess.
Game Awards.
We
We don't own that. It's copyrighted. Stop. Stop it. No. That's it. The show's over. We lose.
All right. So, around this time of year, we're going to do Game Awards. We're going to have to do it real quick. We'll probably get out of here around 5:15.
Something like that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
So,
Can we start off on a low note, since that seems to be the mood of the room right now?
yeah.
Wait, what did he say?
Worst game of
Who did
the
this
year.
say?
Pick it now.
Oh, I just saw someone commented. I was trying to read what it was.
Oh, my Lord.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. Long Branch Penny Whistle. He's in here. He's making trouble.
Who did he say is game of the year?
You said Sekiro was?
Ah, that's
We'll
an
get into-
interesting choice.
We'll get into
That's
that in a
pretty
bit.
Yeah. So we're
Um,
starting with worst or disappointing.
Worst, most disappointing game you just
It's Anthem.
wish it wasn't. It's Anthem.
I Damon X Machina, but I
You know
also
what?
agree with.
We spent a lot of
Anthem.
time crapping on each other's games. Let's all, as a team building exercise, let's all express why Anthem is perhaps one of the worst accomplishments. One of
Can
the
we do
worst
it at the same
cravities.
time? Like, so that way it
Humanity.
sounds even crazier because there's so many bad things about Anthem.
You know,
trash.
The whole
trash,
thing is
garbage,
You
that
know, I just think
complete-
that the
you
fact that
can't
you have to
fly-
fly, yes,
you
fly
can't
above
fly
the
above
water.
the thing.
You have to go
and
to
try
the
to
water
change
and
something
fly
about
through
it.
it.
At least
and then
make
also
it
all the
good.
weapons
Awful.
that are
Like,
legendary weapons
no
do the
There's
less
nothing to do.
damage
The
than
world
a
is
common
empty.
weapon.
It's just
Why is
trash.
a
I would
common
rather
weapon
play-
stronger
It makes my
than a
blood
legendary?
boil.
I would rather play Bubsy.
I can agree with
And
that.
I mean it. At least
I
it's
mean
ironic that way. I
And
feel
mean
proud
it.
for beating that game, but Anthem is just like, ugh. You know what? At least Bubsy has an ending.
Ooh, strong point.
Anthem is like a circle of hell. It never ends.
All right,
Just go
cool.
deeper and deeper.
Let's move on from disappointing.
I genuinely thought it was haunted though when we played the
Anthem
demo.
development team meeting. That was good. I like that.
Oh boy!
That was good.
like enemies were clipping out of the walls in the creepiest way possible. I genuinely thought we were
Dude,
gonna get attacked by a ghost.
When we were playing that beta,
Yeah.
dude, that was one of the most surreal experiences of my life. I was like, how
I
can
saw
a
you play
game
that.
be this bad?
I saw you playing that,
Has-
and I was
it
like,
hasn't-
why?
It hasn't gotten any better though.
I'm so
Is the worst
glad.
part.
But you know what? I'm so glad that came in 2019 because I want to talk about it one more time before
Yeah,
we
you're not
send it
wrong.
off into the void, never to be seen again. That's right. It's the classic Dog Pack send off.
A moment of
Moment of
silence
silence.
for Games Fallen.
All right, it doesn't deserve a long one.
On to the
Okay,
best
cool.
shooter.
Best shooter? Oh, I was not
Oh
on that
boy.
one.
Okay.
Ooh,
Best shooter
so
of
sorry.
2019.
Y'all go first.
We had like the Tom Clancy game. We had. You know what?
Ooh,
I think
Tom Clancy's good.
I think for me, Dying Light is the best shooter of this year.
Dying Light.
I think like Dying Light, they really took the first person stuff and like made it really really interesting. It's the one where you run in zombies.
Dying Light 2?
Yes, I didn't play the first one. But if like there's a lot of parkour type of stuff in that game, and I think it's really it's cool because like if it was just like
came out in 2020 though.
it might be I'm thinking of the wrong game. Hold on.
Yeah, I feel that.
This is embarrassing.
Oh.
Game Up Dogs
I've already got
game
one, too.
Goof.
I found one now.
I made a mistake.
Game Goof. Anyway,
Okay.
can I go ahead while you're looking that up?
Yeah, I have a
'Cause I just
particular
kinda
game in
threw this
mind and I
on.
can't find it.
I just told you I'm in show. Anyway. Okay, sorry about this.
That's
Getting
no problem.
Getting another call. So mine is going to be still on air. Thank you. Mine's going to be Apex. And my reasoning for that is I have some friends that actually let me play this game. And while it is it's got the Fortnite fever that it's jumping on basically because it's the same style of game or type of game, it's a lot more stylized. And I think I had fun with the little bit of time I played. I was awful at it because, of course, the first time you play any of those games, you're going to be kind of bad. But it was just really fun. I enjoyed it. You have the different class options you can choose from and all of those things. And so I was like, you know what? It's pretty cool. I think my second pick would have been Far Cry 5, the expansion thing, because I've heard it was really, really good too. So.
Interesting. Are we lumping in expansions as new games?
I think if they're big enough.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. And I think that one was big enough.
Is like a whole new game that we can put in like Game of the Year?
No, 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 no.
I don't-
No.
I honestly, I'm like, I don't know if Iceborne can. I don't know. It's weird. It's in that weird.
I love you, bud, but no.
it's in
you
that,
can't do
like-
it, buddy.
I mean, okay, if Iceborne was put on like it's like a disc and sold as a game,
That'd be okay.
It was.
but it.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
then it's fair.
I think it's fair. Like you could take Iceborne and it could be its own thing, and
So
that'd
wait,
be fine.
so you can just play Iceborne without playing World, like base World? But-
No, it's like it's just like the Ultimate games of the past. Like there's 3.
So you have to play through. You have to play through the base of World before you go to.
Difference is now you can
Iceborne.
download Iceborne onto this. Yes, I don't think it's a new game if that's what you're asking.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
just joking.
Oh no, but like I was being genuinely serious at that point.
It is the best game of this year, though. All right,
Cool.
art direction.
I went with Gris.
I don't know what that is.
I've looked at a lot of pictures of that game, and it looks really pretty. That's all I got about it, Chief.
I think Sekiro just blew it out of the park this year
It is good.
as far as
I
art
thought the
direction
art
goes.
direction was okay in that one.
It was just like they took like the crazy amount of detail and weirdness from like a Souls game, but they actually added color which I didn't think was
Yeah.
possible, honestly. So yeah, I thought it was a really good game with like really good art design.
Cool, cool.
Roberto.
Art design. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't really have a pick. I'm gonna mostly just drill through these and let you guys go off on them.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sounds okay to me.
So
What's the next one then? Throw one at me. Do it.
Best narrative.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
This one's also one that I've only just kind of heard about and not necessarily one that I've played through. That's kind of the hard thing about these is a lot of these games I've actually not played through or I've just seen a little bit about them. But from what was given for narrative, I think Outer Worlds was the coolest sounding.
I'm actually gonna agree with you. I think Outer
yeah.
Worlds probably had the best story so far of a
It
game.
looks cool.
Yeah.
It's got an interesting art design. I wouldn't say it's the best one. But it's also looks like it's really in depth from what I hear from everybody.
the concept alone is so like mind blowing to me that I think and like from everything that I've heard, it's a lot like New Vegas, like Fallout
Yes,
New Vegas,
that's what I've heard too.
and that's I'm I'm really into that kind of storytelling, and I'd want to see more of it. So like, I think Outer Worlds probably is the best one for this year. I haven't got it yet.
We
but I'm gonna.
agreed. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Best RPG.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts
Okay.
3.
I said it's so weird.
Kingdom Hearts 3 come out this.
Yes.
Yep.
That was-
It came out in December of last year, but it's included in this year's Game Awards.
We're including stuff from December.
Because Game Awards happens
Well, then Ultimate wins.
yeah.
Ultimate wins
It's
everything.
not an RPG though.
What do you mean?
Oh my goodness, World
Spirit-
of Light.
World of
Wait.
it's the best.
Oh no.
What
Ultimate?
But
I gotta pick it.
World
it's
of Light-
over. The Game Awards is
World
over.
of Light sucked though.
Yeah.
That is fair.
If you do a
I
Nuzlocke,
forgot
it's
about
actually
that.
really hard
I
though.
forgot that it sucked.
I
You're
did
right.
too. Yeah.
But
Subspace was better.
I do. In that case, yeah, I'm nominating Ultimate for art direction because I love the.
That's true.
I
I can agree with that.
I like Sekiro. more,
Yeah,
think, in
I
terms
like
of art
Sekiro's art direction.
I'd agree with the Smash art direction now. But all right, so as far as RPG goes, though, Kingdom Hearts 3, I really love that series and
Yeah.
that game as an RPG in and of itself, like not including story, because I will admit the story was stupid. But the game itself is actually really fun. So
I picked Deltarune for mine.
that's a good one.
That was like a really short RPG by Toby Fox, sort of a almost sequel to Undertale. Like I don't know, it felt like a lot more grown up than Undertale, and it felt more like the combat just felt a lot nicer to me, and I liked it, so I picked that. I didn't play very many RPGs this year.
Borderlands 3. That I'll be talking about that a little bit later. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it, Chief.
Is Borderlands RPG? I haven't played Borderlands.
I
don't
think
know what
I
it
like
is.
Borderlands games, and so
Sure.
it's on some of mine.
Okay.
So what's the next one, friend?
Action adventure.
Action adventure Borderlands 3.
I think Link's
That's what I picked.
Awakening was the best one this year. I think that's like
Yeah.
it. Okay,
It's good.
It's a remake, but
Yeah.
enough stuff has been like redesigned and reworked. I think it's a fair
Yeah.
entrant for this
I
year.
think as far as remakes are if it came out this year, it came out this year. So even if it's a remake, that counts, you know? So I could say that that makes sense.
I'm gonna pick Resident Evil 2. Actually, better yet, I'm gonna pick Sekiro.
Yeah,
that's fair.
that's fair too.
I think Sekiro is so
It's a good game.
fun.
It is.
I have-
have you beaten it yet?
It's cool
That's
game.
one another plan I have. I got
Iceborne and
for over
Sekiro.
spring break. I have 3 games that I want to really get into. One of them's God of War, one of them's Sekiro, and one of them's Monster Hunter. I had to pick which one I wanted to finish now, so I could save the other ones for the longer Christmas break.
Yeah.
I picked to finish God of War first, which was the Game of the Year winner last year, which we probably should have.
That we picked and they picked. I just
should
want
have
to mention.
I should have picked something different. I think because God of War is kind of overrated, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely good, but I can understand what you're saying
Should
too.
have picked Monster Hunter World. It's the best game. I'm sorry.
T.
I'm sorry.
You don't sound sorry.
What are we
I'm
hitting?
not.
What are we hitting up next, friend?
All
But yeah, multiplayer.
Ay, 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 ay.
It depends on if we're talking online or couch. If it's couch, Smash. If it's online, I'm going with Borderlands 3 again.
I think you have to take into account both.
I do too, but I'm separating it because I don't want to have
Well,
to pick
I'm
between
not.
that.
So
I just think Smash's online is that bad, and so I would say Borderlands 3 for the online aspect.
That's actually kind of fair.
And so-
I'm gonna say Tetris 99.
I actually was
That's
just
fair.
thinking about Tetris 99 and like it takes all the stuff I hate about multiplayer, which is like interacting with other human beings on the internet, and
Yeah.
it takes all the gross stuff out of it and just lets me destroy people.
I actually
only
don't
thing
have a
I don't-
pick, but yeah, I don't have a pick because I didn't play very many multiplayer games aside from.
I think the only reason I don't
Turner.
like Tetris 99 as much is because the mechanic where you target someone else and make the little metal blocks fall in their pit. You know what I'm
love
talking
that.
about?
I love it. So much.
Yeah. I always get like tag teamed by like
So
two people.
You hate it because you're bad at it.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Wow.
I'm bad at Tetris.
It beat
I
the
won't
Cold
lie.
War and it beat Bryant. Wow.
It beat me really
Bam,
bad.
bam, bam, bam.
Worse than Bernadetta's father.
All right.
so.
Best fighting game.
Oh my god! If Smash Bros. Ultimate is included in this,
Smash.
it's Smash.
If we're not
Samurai
including-
Showdown.
Yeah. If we're not including Smash, I'd say MK11 though. I like MK11.
We are including Smash.
Okay,
We are
Smash.
And I included Smash in my decision as well.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love Smash, and I probably prefer to play it, but I'm also thinking of like what it means to be a fighting game, and I think Sam Show embodies it. Kind of reaches that more hardcore crowd, and it's also easy enough to get into. I think.
I don't know.
Most.
I've never
I
played
might
it.
feel differently if I had played it, but
Yeah.
I think overall Smash does more, and I would definitely want to play that more with somebody else. But as far as a fighting game, what fighting games do,
Sure.
I just love Sam Show.
I agree.
okay.
Independent game.
I'm going
Indies?
with Slay the Spire. It was really, 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 really good.
I heard really good things about that.
And I have it, so I played it and it's fun.
Did we go over narrative?
I don't. Yeah, we did
Yeah,
because
we
we
did.
went with Outer Worlds. Me and him both.
Okay. Independent game.
Yeah, he's-
Independent
he's getting
game.
there.
Katana Zero.
Actually, you could technically
think-
go for Deltarune again.
No, I'm not gonna double pick. I think
Okay.
You can double pick. That is.
I don't
allowed.
want to.
Fighter Z came out last year.
There's
just
this-
to clarify
okay.
for that. It's also not Jump Force. I want to go and say that now.
Picking indie games is weird because like
Mm-hmm.
half the time nobody knows what you're talking about. But there's this game called Indivisible. It's by the studio that did Skullgirls. It's weird.
Oh, Indivisible.
Indivisible.
Yeah. I've heard of
It's-
that.
It's a really, really weird game. Well, it's not that weird, I guess, but it's like a platformer, turn-based combat game. It's really big and like it looks really beautiful.
Didn't you show me
I'm-
that game? I think you did.
I think I did, yeah. But it
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really, I don't know. I really like that game, but you guys haven't heard of it, so
That's your pick.
that's my pick.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what
fine.
I don't know what they
That's how-
expected. It's an indie game.
That's how indie
Jesus.
games work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most anticipated game.
So
Is
like
that for next year?
going into next year, or the game we most anticipated to come out this year.
Most anticipated game next year.
Of next year? Oh goodness, I did not look for that. Oh
You're not looking forward to any games?
no, it's just I didn't know that was one of the topics.
So like half of the stuff that I'm excited for, I don't know if it's coming out next year. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 or Breath of the Wild 2 are coming out next year.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
So I guess I'm most excited for like Persona 5 Scrambled.
That's a fair pick.
Like I know
That's a
it's
good one.
It's probably coming out next year.
Ooh, that might end up being it.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that was. Oh, that one's actually really good too. I think he's scrolling through a list, and I'm just kind of gazing through it, and there's only one that made me be like, "Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
I got my
really
pick.
can't wait for that." I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
You're
It-
excited for Anthem 2.
Yes, of course. But anyway, I mean, as long as they fixed it, I guess it
No.
wouldn't be bad.
I will not give them a chance.
I won't either. I'm gonna wait for everybody else to give him a chance. and be
You've
idiots.
lost my trust.
But- Oh, Kakarot's coming out. Well, Kakarot's coming out. Oh yeah, and then also Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore, which is the Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei crossover for the Wii U that came out.
that'll be weird.
It is a weird game from what I've heard, but I've heard this one's like an expansion.
Both
and
games are
Okay,
about.
but what gets your most anticipated game of the year?
This is really hard because I want both of them.
Okay, but which
Um,
one are you, if you had
I'll
to
go with-
lay
I'll
down your
go-
life and play down one?
I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy VII. Yeah,
Okay.
remake.
That makes
Mine's
sense.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yes.
Totally can
Oh my
understand that.
gosh, I forgot about Cyberpunk.
Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition. I changed my vote.
Okay.
I forgot about Cyberpunk.
I can't wait to see what that game. Either it's going to be like.
I hope it's good and
I-
not trash.
There's only like 3 ways it can go. It's either going to be like amazing, which is actually kind of slim.
Mm.
I'm actually not expecting it to be as amazing as everybody thinks it is, but I am looking forward to playing it.
Keanu Reeves.
Or it's going to be okay. To pretty
You're
good,
breathtaking.
or it's going to be. Why isn't your pick Doom Eternal, by the way?
Doom it.
That's true.
Bethesda's been messing up so much. I'm just kind of.
Mm.
I have to
You're
step.
hesitant?
I actually have to. After Fallout
Fair point.
76, I actually have to step back and like watch how this plays out for a little bit.
He
You know,
pulled out the big boy.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. 76.
Yeah, that's
it's
my-
still going.
2077 is
It's
my
dead,
most
don't-
anticipated.
it's
game.
It's
So
still
now
going, baby.
It's a zombie, bro.
We move on to
Zambi.
our big boy.
The game of the year.
Game of the year.
I think so. What the Game Awards does is like they play all of these games, I would assume, or they tally up all the votes and stuff. We, the three of us, haven't played every single game that came out this year, so I think this is just down to personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, Dingo,
Colors weave into a spire flame.
That's fair.
Distant. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's the one I vote for. I think it's really good in terms of multiplayer stuff. Like I was saying, playing Smash with friends on a couch. Like, I don't like doing online too much. But if I'm there with my friends, that is the thing we immediately jump to.
yeah,
And so it's just, to me, if you are with a group of people and the first thing you think of is let's play Smash and it's all of you are like consistent on that, I think that proves in and of itself that it's Game of the Year because it's what you immediately jump to.
I think it was kind of at a disadvantage because it came out like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Not even the beginning of the year. It came out in December of last year. But like, I feel like, I mean, it's Smash. It's probably like objectively, it's the best Smash Bros. So far, and it's my personal favorite. So like,
Agreed.
yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I also totally understand any other decision because this is actually a pretty good year, I think.
Yeah, I think if Smash Bros. Had come out later, I'd probably agree with you. But I'm kind of burned out on Smash right now.
That makes sense.
I'm just I've been hit by that wolf forward tilt too many times.
Yeah, I totally 500% understand your comment.
No, it's not as bad as it was before, but
Oh, he's getting his keys. He's
I
about to
think-
leave because he's a wolf man.
right. I think for me, the game of the year, and this game came out like last month, so it came out like 2 months ago. So I'm not sure if I should pick it, but like just the amount of fun I've had with like playing it, it's been more than like any other game that's come out so far this year. That's gotta be Luigi's Mansion 3,
Ooh.
baby.
I got to play it, man.
Game of the year.
When you're done, let me know. I will
Luigi's
play
Mansion? Question mark, hashtag.
Yeah, personal.
No
that's-
more. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't
I
afraid no
totally,
ghosts.
I respect the decision. I have
Yeah.
to play it and to agree, I think, but I totally respect it. It's
I
Luigi.
think it wins Game of the Year. Just like the amount of expectations that were going into this game and the fact that it delivered on all of them is just like that. That happens very rarely, especially for like really really big games.
That's true.
The look on your face right now.
Well,
It's so
okay.
bad.
Let's hear what he's got to say. What would you say your game of the year is?
Luigi's Mansion is a good game, and I do think
Yeah.
that it delivered on what thing, especially for somebody who had high expectations
Mm-hmm.
and had been burned before.
Dark Moon.
It wasn't that bad, but yeah,
Dark Moon's pretty
It wasn't
bad,
what you
bro.
wanted.
it
though.
was
I
a bit
was-
of a disappointment. Yeah,
I think I was burned by Dark Moon, but
sure.
Best game of the year: Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I'm just joking, no.
I knew it.
My based on what I've played with it, and the fun that I had, and like the challenging aspects of it, I will say that this is actually harder because I'm doubting myself. I'll just go ahead and say it. Sekiro's Game of the
Yep.
Year. Look
I,
at
That's
it.
fair.
I get that.
He guessed it
smart. Although he says
because
Knack
I told
2.
him beforehand.
He says Knack 2, actually. I think
Knack
that's his vote.
2.
He said Knack 2's his vote.
Sekiro.
Get out of here.
It's one of those games where I prefer it. See, I was never really big on the Dark Souls games because it does have in-depth combat, but it's a lot clunkier, and I never had the chance to get into Bloodborne.
Hmm.
But this game, the way it implements combat, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
it
like
makes you feel it. I know this is a really overused word in our culture, but it makes you feel epic in the way that it executes, and
Hmm.
it will punish you, and you will get scared of certain bosses at some point. But then, like,
He's strong. Then you gotta run away.
strong! You gotta run by to a shrine. But like, it will make you feel like fear against these bosses that feel larger than life. But then, like, you get a few good parries, and like, I love games that reward like the higher skill you have, the greater reward you get, because all of a sudden you're just putting down these titans and like giant, these like really big, really big scary. I will say, whenever I beat the big moment for me was when I finally beat Lady Butterfly after. Mm-hmm. I think it was a literal like day dedicated.
Was she the one that had like the lines she would jump on? Yeah, that one's crazy.
Madam Butterfly. After I finally beat her, I the rest of the game, it was still hard, but she was the fight that really taught you, for me at least, how to play that game. And it gets to the point where like you actually feel really skilled whenever you're fighting on these things. And this game really communicates that really well. The combat's visceral. Movement is awesome. It's so fun. I couldn't recommend this game anymore. This is one of the few games that I've been like excited for, and it came out and it actually delivered on everything that I wanted it to be.
It is like,
and
similar
I was
expectations.
excited for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And Evolve.
Evolve.
And Watch Dogs, the first one.
Evolve.
I've been burned so many times.
But Watch Dogs 2, you can hack into a grandma.
As far as like Sekiro goes, I like that they took the idea behind Dark Souls, which is supposed to be like a little dude who, conquers these huge abominations, but like they made it so you actually have to think about it a little bit more, maybe, and it feels a lot better, I think, when you put things down in Sekiro than maybe some of the Dark Souls 2.
I mean, I'm not saying that those games aren't good or aren't satisfying. I'm just saying I really like stylistically the way that Sekiro does it. It's fantastic. I love it.
I think if a game makes you feel more powerful, that's a good game. Like it helps you realize that
it makes you feel vulnerable and like really easy to die.
It makes
like
you
in certain
feel,
parts, like Dark Souls
but you feel
does.
good. Like,
but then you feel really powerful in other segments. Like it somehow achieves both. And I've never played a game that's made me do that, other than like Monster Hunter. Like I know it comes back to that, but like, and it's not as extreme as God. You're giving me such a look right now. You're like, really, you're gonna bring up Monster
It makes
Hunter
you feel like Batman.
It makes you feel like a
Spider-Man.
Jedi.
Wait, did they say that about Fallen Order?
Yeah.
They won't stop saying
Oh my
it.
gosh!
That game
no.
That game's a train wreck. Anyways.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that game's not that good, sadly.
But it's one of those games, and Monster Hunter, I don't even think it accomplishes it as well as Sekiro does.
Sure.
Sekiro, I've never felt afraid of monsters in Monster Hunter. I felt like, how am I gonna get past this in Sekiro? I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
This guy has katanas for fingers. What am I supposed to do against that?
I do think there's also an element of problem solving in Sekiro that some of the other Souls games don't necessarily use. It's a lot of the Souls games are hard because like they're hard to play,
right?
And Sekiro is hard because it's just difficult. Like it's designed to be that way.
And it plays into the atmosphere so well too, because like you're in this war-torn nation that's like on the brink. Everybody's out for blood, and like everybody's just maddened or something. It's great. I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Do you know apparently you can beat the prologue fight or whatever? Like the one that's like
you still get
unbeatable?
you still get your hand cut off.
Yep. You still lose.
And it has a really good story too.
Yeah,
I don't want to nominate it for too many things.
That's one of the games I want to play eventually, but first I got to beat my other super hard game that I'm working on. Hollow Knight, which I've had for 2 years and still have not come close. The last time I picked it up, I broke my controller. Not because I slammed it on the ground, it just broke.
Seriously?
In my hands because I played the game too hard.
Dadgum. I've got a friend that he did the same thing though with Hollow Knight. Like it took him a while to finally beat it because he just kept going off and on with it.
Yeah.
So, I understand. I get that.
Yeah.
I fought a bull with a burning log on its head.
All right. Well, that's the show, I guess, today.
That's the end of the show, and that's the end of the
That's it.
semester.
I'm just imagining like a picture, like a meme of you, and the quote is like, "I fought a bull with a fire log on its head." Oh boy.
That's the end of the show. That's the end of the semester. We'll be back next semester, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely.
Doghouse Requiem.
Yeah, we got one
Doghouse,
more year, boys.
The
one more.
Revengeance.
That's what I named this
Here it
one,
is.
actually.
Really?
No, wait.
No, you named I saw it on the Dogfight.
Yeah.
It was Dogfight Revengeance. Because
I called it.
We're going to have to
Yeah.
start rehashing stuff.
Yeah. We're gonna have to bring back the Fire Emblem. The Pokemon fight. We're gonna have to bring back the Kingdom Hearts Monster Hunter fight.
No,
Oh,
you guys
gosh.
have made it
No.
inherently clear that you don't want to do that.
No.
It'll
Yes.
hurt my feelings.
Yes.
No.
So
Yes.
No.
Never again.
Never.
instead, we'll do the Crash Mario one so I can win again.
Actually, I would be okay with that.
I don't know. I still don't get. Like, I still don't understand the logic behind that one.
Hey, we could do Mario Kart versus Crash Nitro Fueled.
It's Mario Kart.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I lawyered you. That's how I won that one. I lawyered you. Got him.
I may not be a big city lawyer, but I know about Crash Nitro Kart. I can play as that bad guy with the
The big
Sorry.
N on his
You
forehead.
guys have been listening to the Doghouse. We'll be back next semester. Be sure to. We'll give you updates through this channel. I will be probably running this channel intimately next semester.
Oh
so,
my.
Yeah. If you got the time and you feel so inclined, tomorrow you can check out our channel for the last episode of Dungeon Dogs.
Woo!
Coming
That'll
out
be
tomorrow.
good.
It's gonna be a different time. I think 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we had agreed.
We're gonna do it at 2 o'clock.
So.
It's gonna. It might be like I don't know, 10 minutes longer because we're gonna cap off this little module that we're doing. But
Mhm.
I think it'll be pretty. I think this one will be pretty cool. I'm
Oh.
excited for all the things I get to do to you guys.
I'm pretty pumped. We have an entire squadron of whatever elves with us too, so that's pretty
Sure.
nice.
Yeah. You guys.
For now, anyways.
They seem pretty disposable though.
That's my point.
You guys have been listening to the Doghouse. See you guys next semester.
Peace out.
Finally, you can touch that dial.
Well, not until after.